Zoo, we used to have a really bad rat problem. This rat problem was so bad, I know, that the rats were running absolutely everywhere. I know, I'm so glad you're excited. I know, that problem's now behind us now, so we don't need to worry about it anymore. I know, have you seen a rat around here? You've been here before, haven't you? Where? No rats here today. In fact, one singular owl can take down 1,000 rats and mice per year. And a pair with chicks, well, they can take down 3,000 or more. So it's safe to say that a pair or a family of owls are some of the most beneficial neighbours you could all be hoping for. However, owls are not the only birds out there hunting in your backyards. One of Australia's lesser-known predators hunts under the cover of total darkness. You might not always get to see them, but you're likely enough to hear them as they stalk through the grasses. Everybody, this here is Uma, and Uma is a bush stone curlew. Curlews are often ground-dwelling birds, even though they can fly, so you might find them close to people in open plains and in woodlands. You might spot them standing completely still, or even laying flat to the ground, camouflaging in plain sight. However, for animals that hunt using their sense of smell, such as feral foxes, domestic cats and dogs, camouflage just may not be enough to avoid predation. The bushstone curlew was once widespread across Australia. They were even found right here in Sydney. But now, their population has significantly declined, causing their species to just disappear. Now, if there is something that you'd like to do to help preserve native wildlife, you can. You can start by keeping your pets inside at night. That might just be the turning point needed for the bushstone curlew's survival. Now, all of the birds that you've seen so far today have been Australian native, but the next species you're about to meet, it actually did all of the travelling for us, voyaging alongside people, travelled across the seas, and it really allowed us to have an everyday connection with birds. I wouldn't be surprised if you've all seen this species in your backyards. The chicken. Now, this here is no ordinary chook. This is Mentari, and Mentari is a red jungle fowl. Originally from Southeast Asia, the red jungle fowl boasts a relationship with people for around 8,000 years. The red jungle fowl and our modern day hens have made their way into our societies and our cultures, our religions and our rituals, but they've even made their way into our everyday languages. So whether you're like Mentari here and you're ruling the roost, or perhaps you're a mother hen and your chicks are about to fly the coop, or maybe you like to put all of your eggs into one basket. Chickens really do hold a significance to people everywhere. Thank you, Mentari. In fact, we've become so reliant on chickens for their meat and their egg production that they actually outnumber us by 6 to 1. However, when I think of the everyday connections that we have to birds, I don't often think about the chickens. But what I do think about is of the over 800 different species of bird that call this country home, and over 50 of them, well, they happen to be the parrots, which gives Australia the nickname, the land of the parrots. So for many of us, all you have to do is take a step out into your own backyards to really experience the beauty that's all around us.
Now, as we are expanding our towns and our cities, we make a lot of changes to the local landscapes. However, not all species, just like this one, are able to quickly adapt to those changes, especially if they happen very quickly within their own lifetime. Now, this species really relies on old tree hollows in order to survive. They use them as safe places to rest and to nest, and as safe places to raise their chicks. However, these tree hollows are becoming harder for them to find. Pretty loud, huh? Parrots get a bad reputation for being pretty messy and for being pretty loud. And it's because that pelican is flying. That is not one of ours. They are auditioning. And Gary's letting us know that he's around.
This here is Giri Giri, and Giri Giri means very red, which is perfectly fitting for a male red-tailed black cockatoo, and it beautifully describes that flash of red that strikes through his tail. However, red-tailed black cockatoos are not found locally here in Sydney. However, we are home to many other plant and animal species. We like to think of ourselves as a bit of a sanctuary, not just for the people or the animals in our care, but also for the local wildlife as well. In a word, Taronga is habitat. Now, we have previously picked out 2 volunteers today to help us demonstrate this habitat. Joining us is Wattle.
Teacher, picked up a teacher. Yeah.
You may have noticed that Wattle looks a little bit different to Giri, and this is because Wattle is a female red-tailed black cockatoo. So she has yellow speckles through her chest and colours ranging from oranges, yellows and reds through her tail. Now, Wattle actually gets her name from local plants found in her native habitat. This just reminds us of the connections that we have to both plant and animal species.
Now, earlier I mentioned that cockatoos can have a bad reputation for a couple different things, but one of them being messy. It's actually really important though, because everything that they're dropping to the forest floor actually helps that ecosystem to restore and regrow itself.
When Megan had Giri with them earlier, she mentioned the importance of tree hollows. But one large enough for a red-tailed black cockatoo can take over 150 years to start to form. So chances are